Okay, you guys. So this one right here is not a rumor, it is not a shady blog post, and it is not one of those somebody told somebody situations. This is a full-blown, hidden camera, locked hotel suite, career-ending ambush, and Blueface just walked straight into it. Y'all, Jaidyn Alexis did not go to that hotel to fight. She did not go there to argue. Jaidyn Alexis went into that suite with a plan, a hidden lens, and a target on Blueface's entire life, and by the time the door clicked shut behind her, Blueface, Ashley, and Nevaeh were three people whose lives were about to be split wide open on the internet in real time. Before I get into every single layer of this, let me catch y'all up, because if you do not understand what happened weeks before this hotel setup, none of the rest of this is going to hit the way it is supposed to. And trust me, once you see how Jaidyn Alexis lined this thing up, you are going to understand why people in the comments are calling this the coldest revenge play the internet has seen in a long, long time. Now, here is the short version before we go frame by frame. Blueface was staying at a high-end luxury suite. Ashley was there with him. Weeks before that hotel suite ever became a crime scene of loyalty, Blueface made a move on Jaidyn Alexis' professional life that most people just brushed off at the time. Blueface leaked a piece of very personal, very compromising footage involving Jaidyn Alexis and her manager, Bravo. And this is a detail I need y'all to sit with, because in the industry, your manager is not just some guy who books your studio time. Your manager is your career, your brand, your bag, and your protection all rolled into one person. So when Blueface dragged Bravo out into public daylight the way he did, he was not just embarrassing Jaidyn Alexis, he was going for the throat of everything Jaidyn Alexis had been building. Now, most people expected Jaidyn Alexis to break down. Most people expected Jaidyn Alexis to log off, apologize, or run for cover. Jaidyn Alexis did none of that. Jaidyn Alexis went quiet. Not a guess, not a hunch, not a screenshot from a fan account. Jaidyn Alexis gets the exact location, the exact hotel, the exact suite, and the exact time Blueface is going to be there. And she gets confirmation that Blueface is not alone. Ashley is with him. Now, Ashley is a name that has been circling Blueface for months. People online have been whispering about Ashley and Blueface for a long time, but Blueface always played it off. Blueface always managed to keep Ashley just out of frame. Blueface would post, delete, deflect, and change the subject any time Ashley's name got too close to his own. So up until this specific night, and the camera caught everything. It caught the moment the door opened. It caught the exact half-second Blueface realized who was standing there. It caught Ashley's face when Ashley realized this was not a friendly drop-by. It caught the panic, the shift in body language, the scramble to cover up, the excuses that never fully made it out of anybody's mouth. And most importantly, it caught Jaidyn Alexis herself, standing there, calm, focused, completely in control of the room. Jaidyn Alexis did not scream. Jaidyn Alexis did not swing. Jaidyn Alexis did not need to. Jaidyn Alexis was not there for the confrontation. Jaidyn Alexis was there to make sure the confrontation was on tape. And the moment she confirmed the camera had captured the shot, Phase 1 of this plan was already over. Phase 2 was about to make Blueface a trending topic for all the wrong reasons. Because here is what most people would have done in that moment. Most people would have taken the tape and used it as leverage. Most people would have sat down with Blueface, played the tape, and said, "Fix this or I release it." Most people would have called a lawyer, filed something, threatened something, or held that footage as a private card to play later. Jaidyn Alexis did not do any of that. Jaidyn Alexis skipped straight past leverage and went right to public execution. Within a shockingly short window of time after that hotel door swung open, the raw footage was already climbing onto the internet. No blur, no edit, no negotiation, no warning. Just the tape. Just the truth. Just the receipt. And once that footage hit, it was over. There is no lawyer that can put that back in the box. There is no PR team that can bury that clip. There is no Blueface statement, apology tour, or podcast interview that can unshow what that camera showed. Jaidyn Alexis made sure of it. Now, here is where it goes from a scandal into a full-on human tragedy. Because while the internet was reacting to Blueface and Ashley, there was one person watching that footage who did not have the luxury of treating it like entertainment. And that person was Nevaeh. Nevaeh, y'all, is not some random name in a comment section. Nevaeh is Blueface's baby mama. Nevaeh is heavily pregnant with Blueface's child. Nevaeh is the woman who was literally at home, in Blueface's house, preparing for the arrival of a whole baby, when that clip dropped. Now think about that for 1 second. Think about the state of mind of a pregnant woman, at home, believing her household is stable, believing her family is intact, believing the man she is about to have a child with is at least pretending to keep it together. And then think about that same pregnant woman opening her phone and seeing hidden camera footage of the father of her unborn child inside a hotel suite with Ashley. There is no version of that moment that is not, and you have to understand what that scene looked like in the moment. This was not a quick, grab a bag and storm out situation. This was a full, systematic exit. This was a woman looking at every piece of the life she had built inside that house and deciding, in real time, that none of it was worth staying for. And she was doing it while carrying Blueface's child. Every bag Nevaeh packed was a piece of the family Blueface thought he was going to come home to. Every closet Nevaeh cleared out was a piece of that "everything is fine" story Blueface had been selling. And by the time Nevaeh walked out of that front door, Blueface's house was not a home anymore. It was just a building. Now, I want y'all to understand how devastating the optics of this were for Blueface. Because while Blueface was in a luxury hotel suite with Ashley, the mother of his unborn child was at home, pregnant, trying to hold a household together for a baby that had not even arrived yet. That is not a small betrayal. That is not a "we had our issues" betrayal. That is the kind of betrayal that ends a family before the family ever gets to fully start. And the internet clocked it immediately. Nobody had to explain it. Nobody had to spell it out. The images spoke for themselves. Blueface with Ashley in a hotel suite on hidden camera. Nevaeh, pregnant, packing her life into bags and walking out of Blueface's front door. Jaidyn Alexis, off to the side, letting the footage do the talking. 3 lives, 3 different rooms, 1 tape, and the entire narrative of Blueface's world flipped in less than an hour. And now let's talk about the strategy behind what Jaidyn Alexis actually pulled off here, because y'all, this was not luck. This was not "just so happened." This was not "girl caught him slipping." This was a full tactical operation. Jaidyn Alexis waited. Jaidyn Alexis planned. Jaidyn Alexis placed the camera exactly where the camera needed to be. Jaidyn Alexis timed her walk-in for the exact moment that would produce the exact footage the internet could not ignore. And Jaidyn Alexis chose the release method that made sure Blueface could never scrub, never delete, never spin, and never legally suppress what happened. Because if Jaidyn Alexis had held that tape privately, Blueface's team could have negotiated. If Jaidyn Alexis had gone to a blog, Blueface's team could have called that blog and buried it. Jaidyn Alexis went straight to the raw internet. And once something goes raw on the internet, y'all know how this works. It gets clipped, it gets reposted, it gets stitched, it gets reacted to, it gets analyzed, it gets memed, and by the time anybody's legal team even opens their laptop, it is already everywhere. And this is why I keep telling y'all, this whole thing was symmetry. Blueface leaked a tape to blow up Jaidyn Alexis' career through her manager Bravo. Jaidyn Alexis leaked a tape to blow up Blueface's family through Ashley. Blueface tried to embarrass Jaidyn Alexis in front of her professional world. Jaidyn Alexis embarrassed Blueface in front of the entire culture. Blueface aimed for Jaidyn Alexis' business. Jaidyn Alexis aimed for Blueface's soul. That is what makes this so bone-chilling. Jaidyn Alexis did not overreach. Jaidyn Alexis did not go too far. Jaidyn Alexis matched Blueface's energy exactly and then hit him with the same weapon he was so proud of when he pulled it on her. Now, some of y'all in the comments are going to say Jaidyn Alexis went too far, because Nevaeh was pregnant. And I hear that. That is a real conversation. But I also want y'all to think about this. Did Blueface stop and think about Nevaeh being pregnant while Blueface was in that hotel suite with Ashley? Because if Blueface had, we would not be having this conversation right now. That is the uncomfortable truth. Blueface put himself in that room. Blueface chose Ashley over Nevaeh in that moment. Blueface handed Jaidyn Alexis the ammunition. Jaidyn Alexis just made sure the shot connected. So when people say Jaidyn Alexis crossed a line, the honest question is, who crossed the line first? And Blueface answered that question the moment he stepped foot in that suite with Ashley. And this leads us to the collapse of Blueface's inner circle, because y'all, this is not just about Blueface and Nevaeh and Ashley. This is about a whole ecosystem of loyalty, business, and image that Blueface spent years building. Ashley is now permanently identified as the woman who was in that hotel suite with Blueface while his pregnant baby mama was at home. That is a label that does not wash off. Ashley cannot walk into any room, any studio, any event, any interview, without that footage being the first thing everybody in the building thinks about. Nevaeh is now permanently identified as the pregnant woman who packed her bags and walked out of Blueface's house on camera. That story will follow the baby that Nevaeh is carrying for the rest of that child's life, whether we like it or not. And Blueface is now permanently identified as the man who got outsmarted, outplayed, and outstrategized by the very person he thought he had already destroyed. Jaidyn Alexis took Blueface's own move, ran it back, and ended a family with it. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because I want y'all to see how completely the power dynamic just flipped. For years, Blueface has operated like a man who thought he was untouchable. Blueface talked reckless. Blueface leaked reckless. Blueface treated the women around him like pieces on a board that he could move whenever he wanted. Blueface built his brand on the idea that he was the one holding all the leverage. And a lot of people in the comments used to argue with me and say, Blueface is just being Blueface. But this hotel situation exposed something that Blueface's whole public persona was built on hiding. Blueface was never actually the smartest person in the room. Blueface was just the loudest. And the second somebody quieter, smarter, and more patient than Blueface decided to plan a real move, Blueface got caught on a hidden camera in a room he thought was private. That is not a boss move. That is a man who thought he had all the answers walking straight into a question he could not answer. And the Bravo situation is what makes it hit even harder. Because Blueface had the audacity to think he could leak footage on Jaidyn Alexis' manager and just walk away like nothing was going to come back on him. Blueface thought there were no consequences. Blueface thought the same rules did not apply to him. But y'all, the internet does not forget. Ashley knew what she was walking into when she walked into that suite. And Ashley made a choice too. So while the internet is focused on Blueface, and the internet is focused on Jaidyn Alexis, and the internet is focused on Nevaeh, I want to make sure y'all do not let Ashley slide out of this quietly. Because Ashley is not a bystander in this story. Ashley is a participant. And that footage does not just tell us what Blueface did. That footage tells us exactly what Ashley was willing to do too. So when Ashley shows up in a comment section later trying to spin this like she was tricked or trapped, y'all pull the receipts back out. That camera does not lie. Now, on the strategy side, I want to break down one more thing for y'all, because this is the part that has other artists in the industry actually nervous right now. Jaidyn Alexis did not just hit Blueface. Jaidyn Alexis basically wrote a new manual on how to respond when somebody tries to violate you publicly. Because for years, the industry has watched people leak, expose, and humiliate each other, and the response has always been either silence or a corny diss track. Jaidyn Alexis skipped both. Jaidyn Alexis went full Black Ops. Jaidyn Alexis picked her target, timed her window, planted her camera, waited for the perfect frame, walked in, captured the shot, and released the footage on her terms. That is not a diss track. That is a full-on takedown. And every artist that has ever leaked something on somebody they used to love just got put on notice, because Jaidyn Alexis just proved that the person you underestimate is usually the person who is quietly building the receipts to end you. And here is another thing y'all need to hear. Blueface is not going to be able to move past this quickly. Because Blueface built his entire public persona on being the guy in control. So the moment the internet has visual proof that Blueface was not in control, that Blueface was not the smartest one in the room, that Blueface got walked into a trap he did not even see coming, the brand takes a hit that no album, no interview, no reality show, no podcast rollout can fully undo. Blueface is going to have to sit inside the reality that the last woman he thought he had over on, ended up flipping the whole board on him. And that is a psychological hit that most artists in Blueface's position do not survive with their swagger intact. Now, before I wrap this up, y'all, I have to be honest with you. I have covered a lot of situations on this channel, and there are certain moments that just feel different when they hit. This one is one of them. Because this is not just messy. This is not just celebrity gossip. This is a real family being dismantled in real time on the internet. There is a pregnant woman who walked out of her home. There is a baby that is going to be born into the aftermath of a hidden camera scandal. There is a man whose reputation just got hollowed out. There is another woman who chose to be a participant in that damage. And there is Jaidyn Alexis, standing in the middle of it, holding the receipt she waited weeks to collect. That is a lot. That is heavy. And I do not want us to laugh past it just because it makes for a good story. Because behind every viral clip, there is a real human being sitting somewhere having the worst day of their life. And that is worth remembering, even when the drama is this loud. But at the same time, y'all, we cannot ignore what this teaches us. Because for years, we have been told that whoever leaks first, wins. Jaidyn Alexis just proved that whoever leaks last, and leaks smartest, actually wins. Blueface leaked first. Blueface thought he had the last word. Blueface moved fast, sloppy, and loud. Jaidyn Alexis moved slow, careful, and quiet. And when the tape dropped, it was not even a contest. Blueface's leak on Bravo is already fading from the timeline. Jaidyn Alexis' leak on Blueface and Ashley is going to be replayed, dissected, and referenced for years. So if there is a lesson buried inside this whole situation, it is this. Loud does not win. Smart wins. Patient wins. Documented wins. And Jaidyn Alexis had all three. Now, before y'all leave this video, I want y'all to sit with a couple of questions, because the comments section on this one is about to be crazy, and I want to hear from every single one of you. First question. Was Jaidyn Alexis justified? Was Jaidyn Alexis just answering Blueface's Bravo leak with the same energy Blueface used first? Or did Jaidyn Alexis cross a line by releasing that tape while Nevaeh was pregnant? Second question. Where do you stand on Ashley? Is Ashley a victim of a setup, or is Ashley an active participant who knew exactly what she was walking into? Third question. What happens to Blueface from here? Can Blueface actually come back from this, or is this the moment we look back on years from now and say, that was the tape that ended Blueface's run? And fourth question. Nevaeh. What do we want for Nevaeh? Because Nevaeh is the one person in this whole story who did nothing wrong, and Nevaeh is the one carrying the heaviest weight out of everybody. So what does support look like for Nevaeh right now, from us, from the culture, and from the people around her? Drop your answers in the comments, tell me exactly where you stand, and do not hold back, because this is one of those conversations that needs every voice. And listen, if this is the kind of breakdown you want more of, the kind where we actually slow down, connect the dots, and give you the full picture instead of just chasing the trending hashtag, then y'all know what to do. Hit that subscribe button right now, turn your notifications on, and share this video with somebody who needs to see the full timeline. Because I promise y'all, this Blueface, Jaidyn Alexis, Ashley, and Nevaeh situation is not over. There is another chapter coming. There is another response coming. There is another leak coming. And when it drops, I am going to be right here, ready to walk y'all through every single frame of it. So do not miss the next one. Subscribe, like this video, and I will talk to y'all in the next breakdown. Y'all take care.